The following podcast does have an explicit tag, and boy, have we earned the right to use it.
One, two, three into the four. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door.
Did you just hit record?
No, I hit record like 2 minutes
God
ago.
damn it. Alright. Oh, don't hit that. There's no fucking sausage rolls, man. Yeah, thank you. Oh, shit, yeah, we are, so we're recording now. So, that's good. Fantastic. Hang on, one sec here. I got coffee. We can see this, but, our listeners cannot. So it is 1 year to the day. We are recording, the very first release was March 13th of 2015. Jenn, it's official. It's our first anniversary. Oh my god. This is just so incredible. So now that I got the fake tears all up and out of the way, I think it's about time that I welcome Jenn. Jenn, welcome back.
Wait, Jen or Jen?
I said Jenn.
Well, you're Canadian. You're all fucked up what you're speaking. I don't fucking know.
Not Gen A.
Shit.
Yeah, not Gen A anymore. So, fuck you, Jenn. I tried to
No,
introduce
I
you.
am Gen A now. I'm not Gen B anymore. I'm Gen A.
Ayo. So now that you've
Wow.
now you've heard his voice, so joining us tonight is number one fan and art consultant of the show, Jim Captain Bucky O'Hare. Jim, thanks for joining us.
Hey, glad to be here.
Jim, I'm so happy we finally got you on.
Oh, thank you.
He finally got off his ass and joined us. He's actually
I'm so happy. I have been on Keith's ass for literally a year and a half.
Jim has literally listened to every episode. He knows that you're full of shit. He has.
You don't know what happens off air.
I can guess, and visual representations are not necessary.
You don't know what happens in text messages.
There is that.
I plead the fifth on that one. So yes, we are celebrating our
No, it is not like that. Oh my
first
God.
anniversary. Jenn tells me all the sort of dirty details of her non-existent sex life. It is quite gross.
Of my wonderful Jon Snow and Euron Greyjoy sandwich fantasies.
She has this mental image of them like making the Eiffel Tower with her.
Oh.
On the top of the wall. Oh my God. While Euron's chucking fucking dragon's eggs in one of his moves. I have problems.
So we're 1 year in. This is episode number 23. So I guess that means we're only 6 weeks behind on what should be a every other week schedule. You good people have, stuck with us through this since the very beginning, and have, I'm assuming, either decided you have enough enemies that you've got them listening to the show because you hate them so much. You're like, hey, listen to this. But regardless, we're now officially in the triple digit listenerships. So thank you everybody who's tuned in month after month, episode after episode to listen to the fact that we still have no fucking clue what we're doing. We still mumble and
I don't
bumble
think we're ever going to have a
fumble. I pretend to know. I set up little Google Docs and it just, falls right to shit. Hurts my feelings.
Dude, nobody cares.
I know.
It's the best plans of mice and men.
Dude, and nobody really fucking cares. We're just everybody knows you come on this show, there's no fucking plan.
For us, anyways. I mean, you go to other shows. I mean, as we found out listening to Eli last week, apparently Noah and Heath have just every minute detail planned out when it comes to the scathing ideas.
Yeah, not here, ladies and gentlemen.
So, in celebration, we're just gonna go. We're gonna play with ourselves a little bit. We're gonna masturbate a little bit here. We're gonna kind of talk about our.
I'm so fucking tired of doing that.
No, you're not. It's sex with someone you love.
No, I'm.
Anyways.
I know, but and I'm good at it. But
listen to the ego on this bitch.
It's like being married. It's like being married, waking up to the same fucking pussy and dick every day. You start to wonder what other things would be like.
I'll let you know when I'm married. So, we have
It's that once you get married, you catch that disease, one-gina.
Oh my God, that is the greatest thing. Oh my God, I've never heard of that.
Okay, good to know.
Vagina.
Jim, you're gonna have to get a little closer to the microphone, I think, just to make sure that we're not being lost to the good people.
Okay.
There's sarcasm, wit, and an inappropriate sense of humor that needs to be unleashed onto the world. So, going through our statistics here, I can kind of get a glimpse based off of Podbean's algorithms or whatever as to our top 5 most popular episodes. So, we're going to quickly go over that. Number 5 is an episode we did as kind of a quick little supplement to try to make sure that, we kind of looked like we were trying to go for that every other week motif thing. So coming in at number 5 is episode 21, hashtag Red Pandas. I think I'm gonna.
Really?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna have to.
Interesting.
Gonna have to add in drum rolls and applause here.
Oh, here we go.
No, I was meaning in the editing.
Oh, so was I.
So, because it's the most recent episode, I think that just as of this moment, it's only in place number 4 for the time being. Coming up number 4 is episode 22. This one's for Leo. A episode we had Eli Bosnick join us to talk about safe spaces and racial purity and make Hitler jokes.
Actually, I really enjoyed that one because Eli's explanation of safe spaces helped clarify a lot for me. Because like when I had given you that message about, you get this group of Muslim students who are playing the safe space card to stop the speaker. I was like, that seems to me that's in complete violation of what safe spaces should be. And it turns out,
right.
I'm actually smarter than I look, and I was correct that is in violation of.
I wish I would have could have brought that one to Eli and could have hashed that one out. Smart guy, that one. Hopefully we didn't scare him off and he'll come back. Also, Jim, did you enjoy the fact that we said hi?
Yes, I did.
I say hi to Jim all the time.
Yeah, but you're not Eli.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're not Eli.
All right, so episode.
I have a vagina. I thought that negated everything.
Jen, unless your vagina's on camera right now, it doesn't matter.
Nobody wants to see what's going on down there. Nobody.
You clearly don't know what goes on in men's minds. Third place episode for most popular listens. We have episode number 18. Teaching goes out the window. Episode where we had David Teachout come on, and we had a lengthy discussion with him, and I'm sure we almost lost a couple of people on that conversation.
That was probably the most philosophical and in-depth episode we ever.
I know, and there was me without my weed.
Yeah, actually, again, that was really good. That's looking at things from an educated perspective of somebody who has studied theology and has studied philosophy and psychology. It added to the conversation from my perspective, anyways, because there's a lot of things about that I'm just completely clueless in.
It added a touch of class to the show.
Oh yeah, totally classed this bitch up. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
we
saying?
got some class up in this motherfucker with the grits.
Word.
Oh god, I'm so fucking hungry. Would you stop talking about food and start?
Second most popular episode.
And what I want, I can't find here.
It's grits. Second most popular episode
South.
is episode number 20. Zandy is dandy, but liquor. Oh, never mind.
Oh,
nope. It just ended at dandy.
No.
The knicker is quicker. That was just something that I put in my head. And for those of you wondering, I said knicker as in N-I-C-K-E-R, not the G word. That, Ishmael made me say that one time and all that.
Traumatized you?
It didn't traumatize me. I'm just, there's a time and a place to say
You're Canadian. You don't do that.
I'm too
You're
polite.
Canadian.
Right, Jim? We're too polite.
Yes, we're too polite.
Too fucking polite.
We are far too fucking polite to say shit like that.
Though, it actually is true. I remember coming back to Tennessee from New York on flight, and it was a Toronto layover in New York City.
Why the fuck would you go to Toronto to go to Nashville?
Well, no, it was people from Toronto. I don't know why, but it was a layover in New York City. Some people got off, some people stayed on. You could tell who was American and who was Canadian by who would move the fuck out of your way when you were coming up the aisle. Because they're like, oh, excuse me, it's all right. And then Americans are like, would you fucking move? I'm sitting here. I'm like, what the fuck?
That is just That's so happy.
Actually, a year or so ago, my wife, a buddy of mine and his wife went down to Montana for a week, and
Okay.
I mean, and this,
Why? But okay.
it's just across the border. What the hell?
Yeah.
So we go down there. We're just like I said, it's Jerkwater, Montana. So I mean, this is like it's upper dipshitistan, right? There's nobody, or it's a handful of people let a stray dog.
It might as well be Canada, Montana.
Yeah, exactly. But as we're going through a couple of stores, just window shopping, wandering around, we're on the way at the door, and I stopped and I held the door open for these two women who were coming in, and they were shocked. They're like, "It's so nice to see somebody hold the door." I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is wrong with your country?
That happened to me. When I was living in upstate New York, we lived maybe an hour from the border, right off of Wellesley Island. And they would come down to Syracuse all the time to shop, and somebody physically held the door for me, and I was like, I was like, thank you, you didn't have to do that. And they just looked at me like, would you stop, you asshole? I'm so fucking hungry. I am fucking starving. And they just looked at me like, why would you thank me for this? When I first got down here, somebody opened the door for me and said, good morning. Oh my god, fuck you. Fuck you, Jim's like making love to a sausage burrito right now, and I'm like, oh my god, that looks so
Sausage
fucking
burritos
good.
are a thing?
Apparently in the States.
They got grits up in this motherfucker. They may as well have
Oh,
sausage
no,
burritos.
okay, you're eating sausage rolls that look like a sausage burrito real quick. And yes, they do have sausage burritos.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Anyway,
Yeah, feel dirty.
they're not bad. I'm not a big egg person, but if you take the eggs out, they're pretty good. When I moved down
It's a
here the
breakfast
first
burrito.
morning, I went to grab
Well, yeah, 'cause
coffee.
she doesn't like her eggs being, like, you
Yeah,
know,
Scrambled.
Well, no, it's I mean, how she likes her eggs in the
raised
morning.
free
Yeah, she likes her eggs in the morning.
with racial purity and all that.
Unfertilized.
Unfertilized.
Complete of racial
And they-
contamination. Interracial
And they haven't
contamination.
been scrambled in a while, so anyway. First morning I moved down here, somebody opens the door for me, I go to get coffee. And they're like, oh, hello, ma'am, how's your day? And I'm like, I actually checked for my wallet. I was like... And, like, I'm watching this motherfucker. I'm at a gas station. And I'm watching this motherfucker. Like, stay the fuck away from me. Why are you being so fucking nice to me? You're gonna fucking rob me. You're gonna fucking shoot. You're gonna shoot up the fucking... Fuck you. You're gonna shoot up the fucking... The gas station. What the fuck are you doing? No, it was, like, totally normal. Apparently people in Tennessee are known for being super friendly.
Huh.
And I'm still not used to that. We have the checkout girl that tells you her life story. And I'm like, bitch, your job is to check out my groceries. Fucking check them, bitch, and get the shit done. I'm not tipping you.
Is it just me, or does she sound a little bit angry?
She sounds really...
Maybe we should move on.
I can't.
Yeah. So
So-
why
I
don't
can't
we
fucking
discuss
stand
what
that.
was the number one episode?
You know what, Jim? That sounds like a fantastic idea. Why don't we hop into that one? So, if I can get a drum roll, please. Episode the most popular episode of Not Another Atheist Podcast is episode number 19, Catholic Roulette.
Really?
Yeah, it's got the most, it's got the highest listenership. So for those of you who may not be familiar with what that episode is, or maybe it's just been a while, I know our delivery schedule can be a little sporadic, but when we deliver, goddamn, do we aim to please. That is the episode. That was the first episode we had done without an interview in about 3-4 episodes.
3-4 episodes.
Yeah. Because we'd had Hannah, we had Teach Out, and then we had Hannah and Tanner on. Hannah and Tanner, by the way, will be joining us in the very near future of
2
our
weeks?
episode. Yeah, a couple of weeks, and
Yeah. 2 weeks.
that should be a good episode. I'm looking forward to having another chance to sit down with them. But anyways, episode 19. We just sounded off on a couple of news items, and then they were pertaining to our wonderful Bishop, Fred Henry, who I'm sure the very name of Jim is going to be oh so thrilled about. There you have it, folks. So, while I may have tried to write something meaningful about what a fuckstick I find him to be, Jim just grunts.
Jim just grunts. And that's effective enough. Okay, Jim, as probably our longest listener, what was your favorite episode?
That's a tough call. I did really enjoy the Catholic Roulette episode, and I think for me the reason why I enjoyed it so much is because it hit close to home for me.
Right.
Because Fred Henry is the Archbishop of Calgary of this diocese. It did have that homegrown,
that home feeling. It's in your backyard.
And
yeah.
I think it was one of the really earlier episodes, like 2 or 3, maybe 4, about the young Earth creationist who found the
fossil, the local creationist,
the fossil in his basement while he was excavating his basement. I really enjoyed that because
I almost forgot about
the
that.
cognitive dissonance in that just amazes me. That whole we just agreed to disagree. I'm sorry, you mouth-breathing, low-forehead, one-eyebrow, knuckle-dragging, trailer-park living, velvet Elvis painting-owning motherfucker.
Oh my god, it's my Canadian counterpart!
Only he doesn't have that thick of an accent that just sneaks right out and slaps you.
Yeah.
No, it's come out a few times. His accent. Oh, yeah.
Alright. So,
Keith, what was yours?
Truth be told, I have a lot of different categories for which I might pick favorite, like at best episodes.
Oh, fucking course you would.
I'm
you
the
can't
editor.
Just fucking pick one.
I fucking edit these shows, so I get to go back, I get to listen, and I get to listen to the shit that you don't pick up. I do.
I don't give a shit if you shove your dick in the fucking hard drive and fuck the computer
look,
while you're
what
listening
I do to my laptop when nobody's around is my business, okay? I'll thank you to stick out of it.
Just pick a fucking episode. Fuck. Shit.
Alright, fine. I'll have to go with the most recent one with Eli, because I'm not going to lie. I damn near pissed myself at 4 in trying to edit that one. I sat there and I rewound and I listened to a couple of his little jokes.
Boy.
Okay, number 1, fucking duh. Number 2, fucking you. And number 3, fuck off. So.
Nobody's fucking me. That's the goddamn problem, and that's why we have so many fucking listeners.
No, that's why you're so angry all the time.
I'm much funnier when I'm not. And this is why we have so many listeners. People like that I'm angry.
So, Jen, you're never allowed to get laid.
I'm not going to be as angry.
Yeah,
ever.
That's your
shit.
And in fact, when like just prior to the election, I'm thinking we're going to have to steal all our batteries.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All her charging cables.
Yeah, exactly. Turn off the electricity to the house.
Yeah.
Take the pull start away.
Why would you?
Oh, absolutely.
Wait a minute. Game of Thrones lasts 10 episodes, right? So that's 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will be in a mid Game of Thrones drought if World of... Well, no, it should be 4, 8...
Is it just me or is this
Yeah, I will be mid drought.
A really long time. Yeah. She
I will
doesn't
be mid Game of...
No, she doesn't.
I know, I fucking horribly math. It's disgusting. I will be mid Game of Thrones drought if The Winds of Winter does not come out. If you are going to cut off my batteries at that point, I am going to be one evil fucking angry bitch.
Yes! Alright, Jen.
You are... Somebody will die.
Now it's your turn. What was your favorite?
What was your favorite episode?
Dave.
Fucking Dave. That was like episode number 3.
No, it was 3 or 4.
No, I think it was 5.
Oh, maybe.
I think Dave was 5.
I don't know, but fuck off, Dave.
Yeah.
Not David.
Dave.
Fuck you.
We like David.
Because there was a lot. There was a lot going on with me at that point in time, and that was like the best one.
Was a lot, she says that like there's not a lot.
Yeah, she says it like it's like that was like a like that was an anomaly, like that was an exception to the rules.
One of those things.
No, it was higher. It was much higher than what usually goes on here, and that was just an amazing form of fucking therapy for me. And it was kind of a fuck you to a lot of my exes. A few of my exes that were very misogynistic and had that kind of...
I'm so glad we could be cathartic for you. I'm really glad that we could sit around, we could tell each other our names, and we could really pour our souls out.
Yeah, it was very chapter closing.
Excellent. All right.
For me, in a lot of ways.
So now, next on the agenda for tonight, I just kind of want to...
And I was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, actually, it was. I had a good chuckle out of that one. We just kind of want to go into our geography, because I get to look at where our episodes are downloaded from. And there's some really cool countries.
Because you won't teach me how to do that, you selfish fuck.
No, we just haven't had a chance to do it. Get over it. Anyways.
Right, okay, sure.
Sounds like a whole lot of you probably, yeah. So,
always sounds...
No, I have a whole lot of O problems.
Always! So
I have a whole lot of O problem. Basically that...
Okay, enough about you getting laid.
No face!
Enough, we get it. So we're gonna... So our top 5 listened to countries. This tickles me like deep down in like the cockles of my heart, maybe down a little deeper.
The subcockles.
Yeah, the subcoccular area. To see that we seem to have a couple of listeners in one of my favorite countries, in the land, Germany. They came in at number 5.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize Germany was that high.
Yeah, Germany is.
Interesting.
Yeah. So shout out to my German peoples. I really have no idea what the fuck I should say if I even know a direct translation into German. So yeah, Deutschland. Yeah. Anyways, coming into.
I did not see that coming.
Oh my god. And here's the voices, ladies and gentlemen.
Number 4. We have our mates down in Australia. Thank you guys. We really appreciate.
Australians kind of dig me. I'm learning that. Australians kind of like.
It's always about her.
It's always about her.
Because I have
never
the tits.
about me. You ever notice that?
I know.
Because I have the tits.
It's
I
okay,
have the
Jen.
tits.
I'll
That's
make it
why.
about you. It's okay.
I have tits. Because I have the tits.
Number 3 is the United Kingdom. Why? I don't know. They invented English and we butcher it every fucking episode. But, yay. Number 2 is no surprise. Although the fact that I just realized that, I'm saying Canada is number 2 is kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Canada.
Great Land of Canada is second place, which is no surprise because our most
We're
popular...
number 2. We don't try at all.
Yeah! Jen, can you guess what country has listened to us the most?
America.
Fuck yeah.
But as I looked through a bunch of our statistics, we've, showed up in countries like Spain. We've showed up in Ireland. We have several listeners in Isle of Man. I have no idea what the hell that is.
It's just off the coast
Isle of
England.
Man is
Oh.
it's just off the
Oh.
coast.
It's like-
That's actually a bucket list place of mine.
Cool.
Is Isle of Man.
We have Venezuelan. Apparently we got a... Yeah, fuck it. We have ladyboys listening to us in Thailand.
Yeah. And Keith the other day sent me a message saying, "Oh, we have listeners in Thailand. What do you think statistically? What do you think chances are that they're ladyboys?" And my
Asian Taliban.
and my response,
It's Asian Taliban.
my response was that statistically it'd be 100% chance that they're ladyboys, but I could be just reading my own predilections.
And doing this podcast, I sit here and I realize, that makes me a terrible fucking human being to make that joke because we know better. We
know that that's not true.
We know that's not true. We know that that's not a good term. That's a very degrading
it's Asian
term.
Taliban. It absolutely is Asian.
But I can't help it. I
Is
have to
it?
make that
Well,
joke.
no,
Yeah.
that's not Asia. What is Thailand? That's not really Asia.
Yeah,
it's
Asia.
It's Asia.
It's
Yeah.
Asia Minor.
I get confused.
We want to thank Paraguay, Sweden, Mexico. Woohoo! I'll be visiting you guys and drunk off my ass for a whole week soon enough. We've got some. We've got a listen from Egypt. Apparently, even Japan. How I don't know. I didn't realize that their way advanced technology could even pick us up.
Yeah.
My personal favorite is still Russia.
Duh.
Oh my god, I love the Russians.
Yeah.
Love the
But,
Russians.
we're still waiting.
I am Sergey from Russia. I am the only fan.
I wonder
I am
something.
the only fan of Not Another Atheist Podcast in Russia.
gulags.
In Russia, I am going
wonder
to
something.
Gulag now. They won't let me come out unless I promise to bring back moose and squirrel.
It's not enough.
Now I wonder
Bring me
something.
moose and squirrel.
We all know that in countries like China and North Korea, our podcast probably is not allowed. It's banned. But we do know that they do smuggle things in from other countries to listen to. Maybe that's our Japanese.
Maybe that's our unknown.
Yeah, there's actually a percentage of
those unknowns. Yeah,
I don't know. We still have to figure that out.
Yeah, see, when I look at it's.
That's an IP blocker. That is definitely.
Oh, that is definitely an IP blocker. So I mean, that could be anything from China, Saudi Arabia.
To somebody.
Oh my god, we
not
could have been
wanting to
heard in
bust
Saudi
at
Arabia.
work.
We could be responsible for somebody's death.
Again?
Oh my god, don't put that on.
That
there.
got dark fast.
Again? I hate it when that
We don't talk
happens.
about that.
Oh,
or it could be somebody who's not allowed to access it at work. And
Yeah. Well, Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, take the wind out of my sails, see if I give a shit.
Oh, good lord. Okay, so,
Could be Iranian, too.
ooh, somebody who escaped a
Iranian
gas chamber.
Syrian.
God damn it.
Yeah, really? That's where you're going. Really.
Jesus fucking Christ. I have nothing to do with this, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. This is what happens when these two get together.
No, it's all the coffee. Coffee.
I just want fucking food. Fucking...
Yeah, isn't she? She's whining a whole lot.
Yeah,
Alright,
being a woman.
so,
Don't make me rip out an ovary and smack you with it, Jim.
ow!
That's gonna leave a scar.
Yeah, no kidding. So as we look forward to the next year, Jen, any hopes, aspirations, predictions?
No, fuck that. Just keep listening. I fucking love my listeners. Just fucking keep listening to that shit.
Jim?
If anyone has an Into the Game of Thrones set, please
Oh my god, enough!
broadcast this to anybody. Thank you.
The other thing I would like to see going forward is
Jim speaking into the mic.
Jim speaking into the mic. The only thing I'd like to see more going forward is I'd like to see the numbers improve. I'd like to see a little bit more listenership, a little bit more interaction with the listeners, feedback, comments.
Yes.
That
Tell us.
sort of
Talk
thing.
to us.
Exactly. As the outside person who tries to help out in the background, I hear a lot about, downloads, locations, things like that, but very little actual interaction with listeners. And personally, as somebody who listens to podcasts, if it wasn't for the fact that Keith and I work together, I would write in more often. But because I actually have like a hands-on contact with the show, I don't really feel the need to quote, write in all the time. So,
and I'm gonna put that out there. I fucking love listening to people. I'm a very extremely social person. I'm not a completely rigid bitch, no matter what you might think from this podcast.
Yeah, that's a lie.
I love hearing from people in outside countries and outside cultures because I like to learn about them. And I'm not going to give you a fucking rundown of what's this like, what's that like. No, just to get to know people and see how things are different that way. Please, write us in. Even if it's just some bullshit, write into the fucking... I got my phone on me all the time. If we get a message, I'm going to fucking answer it. Write in, just to even say, hey, how you doing? Strike up a new friendship.
Absolutely. We have had a few members who've reached out and listening to us. I know right after we went live... speaking of which, before we move on from our little self-gratification segment here, wow, I totally lost that fucking train of thought. I don't podcast good. Fuck. No. So right after we went live, we saw a huge, we went from 0 people liking our Facebook page because we didn't have one, and apparently having one is the first step to getting people to like it. Go figure.
We need a Twitter. We need an actual dedicated
Jen,
Twitter
are you willing to run that?
Oh, I am totally... No.
Give it to Jim because I am totally
Social
never
media
on
manager?
Twitter. I am completely never on Twitter, so...
I don't check Twitter enough.
Ever.
I don't. Anyways, there was actually somebody who was local to me. I met her through a Facebook group. She said she absolutely loved how much Jen swore. What else? We've interacted.
Filthy bitches always get it going.
We've interacted with Chuck a few times, and he's said some really positive things. He's wrote us in, had some chats with us. So, Chuck, we want to thank you for being a part. We really appreciate your listening.
Such a loyal listener.
You have, week after week. If you have something to say, or we always get notifications that you've liked our episodes, Chuck, we really want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Also, I'm going to hit puberty again and have some voice cracks. I actually found out about this podcast a little while ago before it really came to fruition. So we're hopefully going to give him a little bit of a boost in his listenership. And it's hilarious that I happened to find this. I was playing Narcissistic one day, as I am wont to do every couple of hours. And I Googled our podcast name just to make sure that, we were getting our coverage. We were showing up on all the feeds we were supposed to. Now we're Stitcher Live. I've got us on Google Play. We're on iTunes, which is we're
on Google Play?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me about this?
I told you this a couple of weeks ago.
No.
Yeah.
That would have stopped.
I'm gonna have to go on to an episode and see if I can find it.
I was just saying, I'm pretty sure I remember hearing you telling her.
Yeah.
That.
But
I think she did the same response to, we're on Google Play?
So, in essence, what we really want our listeners to take away from this is that Jenn has a memory less than that of a goldfish.
Yeah, Jenn really is a castle.
I really do.
A color bubble's coming out of his head.
You dangle keys in front of my face and I'm screwed.
That's
keys?
Rumor has it.
Where?
Rumor has it that it takes less than the keys.
So I found this show while trying to make sure that we were getting proper web coverage. And I was a little confused because I thought somehow it had got goofed up. And it turns out it wasn't. It was a chap who had just released, just a little test blurb just to make sure that it worked and everything. And he runs a show that is literally called Another Atheist Podcast. He actually, as soon as I followed him, he uses some app to send messages to new followers. So after I, got that, and I was like, well, I wonder if he'll send me a message back. And so it goes, thanks for following me. You can also find me on Facebook. And I said, absolutely, but feel free to check out our page as well. So I gave him our Facebook page. And he goes, that's an awesome name. So he checked us out, and what he said, and Jenn, this touches me deep down. He says, he really likes how much fun we have on the show.
Okay, so change your fucking name, asshole. Sorry, I shouldn't have said asshole like that. I'm kind of possessive over this little baby here, and yeah.
Oh, apparently there's interesting. Sorry, I get Twitter notifications on my phone from some of my favorite people, and apparently there's going to be a podcast fight. Ooh. More to come. Anyways,
stay tuned.
So hopefully we'll
Sunday.
Hopefully with this guy we'll be able to do something soon, because that would be really cool. He's got technically 3 episodes out now. The first one was just a test episode, and then the first official episode.
I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about it.
Why? Why?
Because this is my baby. Well, our baby.
Oh, I see how
and
it
this
is.
is the name, and this is what it is, and that's it.
Well, we'll see how it goes. But anyways, so he's got his first episode out, and then a couple of days after that, he releases an afterthought. So it sounds really cool. We wish him. I wish him the best. I don't know about Jenn. So
I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Oh, he's absolute sweetheart. But we'll have to talk him out. Maybe we'll start our own podcast for him.
Ooh. We'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need
the edge. What are the rest of those? We'll think about it. Yeah. We'll deal with that later. Okay. So now that we've bukakied our audience with self-congratulations, we do have we have a microphone that's falling. We have a letter, actually. It was written by Chuck. It was actually right after episode 18. That's how far back this letter goes. It was actually from Chuck. It was in response to our episode with David Teachout, where we had kind of talked about, will religion ever fade out? Just kind of, I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's a very small essay, and, I don't want to really drag it all out. Anyways, according to Chuck's thoughts are that religion never really will die away. Jenn, you asked David if he thought it would.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So his reasoning is because we had about only 60 gods/goddesses a few thousand years ago, but these days we have close to 8,000 or more. I'm not sure if that's the actual number. And as time goes on, humanity can expand on this as a means to bring out false conclusions about how life comes to be the way it is, or any sorts of understandings. And that kind of makes sense, but it is. And it's so long as we are.
But it goes against my opinion of what I think is happening.
True, but
it does make sense.
It does. Jim, do you want to weigh in on this, or are you too busy eating that sausage roll?
God, fuck you! I'm like really trying hard not to look at Jim right now.
Don't look directly at the scary monster. No, see, my opinion on that is that religion is. Religion is probably one of the things that I'm the most passionate about, Hemet Meta refers to himself as the friendly atheist, whereas I will refer to myself as the extraordinarily unfriendly atheist, or the borderline psychotic atheist,
Or the asshole atheist.
or the asshole atheist.
Asshole atheist?
I'm
Oh my god, now we're going after the men. Oh my god.
No, he's just making fun of somebody who's taken way too many drugs and thinks they're being very profound when in reality they're
Yes.
muttering more.
Oh, great, so now we're making fun of addicts too. Fucking wonderful.
Oh, have you seen the TV show on Netflix, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
No.
There's a great.
Wasn't that like a Disney Channel show?
No, it's on Netflix.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Anyways, it's the point behind this is at one point in time she decides that she's going to have plastic surgery. So, spoiler alert, she decides she's going to have plastic surgery.
Too late.
She goes in. She's getting the injections. She's like numb from the neck down. Has this epiphany about why would anybody want to have plastic surgery. She goes running out into the lobby. She's standing there at the door. She turns around, faces all the women in the waiting room, gives this impassioned speech about women, you're beautiful the way you are, don't change anything. And then you get this cut scene from the perspective of the people in the waiting room. And she's just standing by the door going, I laughed so bloody hard. I actually had to rewatch the scene like 2 times just because.
Just to like grasp all of it.
It was so well done. It was brilliant.
Excellent.
But regardless, I do consider myself to be the asshole atheist. I get extremely angry about religion. Not if somebody wants to be a believer. People believe what they want to believe, and that's fine. My problem with religion is the harm that it does do.
Mm.
When you get groups like ISIS that are murdering people in the streets for the crime of not worshipping their imaginary sky daddy quite the right way, or the Catholics and the Protestants in Ireland blowing each other to hell.
Watch before they start blowing us up. Watch.
Blowing each other to hell. I mean, I got friends and family from Ireland who was a postman, and
that's fucking dangerous. That was dangerous.
That was dangerous. And this was in the 80s, and he was a postman in Belfast, and so he and his wife came here on vacation, and the main reason why they came when they did was because he had literally gone. They were leaving the mail depot, and he had gotten into his truck, started it up, and a buddy of his got into his truck, turned the key, and the truck exploded. And he was like, "That's it."
Oh my God.
He was like, "We're going on vacation. We're going to Canada."
Yeah, we're
Blame Canada.
Blame Canada.
Yo.
But like that's where I stand on a lot of things with religion. People can believe whatever the hell it is they want to believe. You can believe in your imaginary sky monster. You can believe in fairies or unicorns or whatever.
Right.
But it's when your beliefs begin to interact with other people in a homicidal way that I start having problems with it. And I think that
I believe Keith put it, your ability to believe ends with my nose.
Yeah,
or
well,
something
Your ability to
ability,
swing your fist ends at my nose.
You're right to
Ends
swing.
at my
You're right
nose,
to swing
yeah.
your fist ends at the tip of my nose, and it's like yelling theater in a crowded fire, right? I mean, you have the right to
What you did, it's there, and I see it.
I
Nice.
see what you did.
You have the right to believe what you want to believe. Is when it begins to affect other people. That's where I have a problem with it, and I think that's the same situation with religion as far as how long it's going to be around. As long as people continue to believe crazy and reject science, reject reality, and I think a lot of the problem with believers is
This is why we can't have nice things,
This
Jim.
is why we can't
Because
have
I'm
nice
playing
things.
with a mountain of toilet paper rolls.
It's a long story. I'm not going to discuss it. Anyways,
It's a fetish.
it's a bunch of these and a wig.
I'm not even going.
No, good call.
I'm
And a
not even
platypus.
going. I'm not.
Yeah, it's good. Well, this part's getting edited out anyhow. Anyways,
Yeah.
I find that the problem with a lot of believers is that fear of death, and as long as people will continue to have that fear of death, there will still be a demand for religion. And I think one of the biggest contributors to that is that the whole concept of life after death, because these people cannot imagine a universe without them in it.
Where they don't exist.
Yeah, they can't imagine
exactly.
a universe that they're not part of. And I find that it just
Oh my god.
it crushes
Wow.
people.
It does.
Wow. That. When you put it that way, it's just like, wow, you guys are a bunch of fucking assholes.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I find religion to be extremely narcissistic. When they say things like, "Oh, well, you atheists, you're so egotistical," and I find myself saying, "Hold on a second. You're the one who thinks that an imaginary sky monster created the entire universe and has a personal relationship with you,
And wants to give you sky cake.
and I'm the one who's egotistical?"
No. But I mean, okay, if we're never gonna get rid of religion, when can we start believing in cool shit again? Like Odin and Valhalla, and can we start believing cool shit like Harry Potter?
Oh, absolutely. I think
Why
we could
not?
do-
Like, can we start doing this shit like that? I'd like be totally like I probably wouldn't believe it, but fuck, at least I'd be like, okay, this I can kind of agree. Would you fucking shut up? But I'm like this I can kind of get behind and be like, yeah, all right, okay.
I'm just enjoying the.
This we can talk about.
I'm just enjoying the library and all of the Nightmare Before Christmas memorabilia.
This was actually the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff was on our wedding cake.
Ooh!
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
We had my wife and I had a Halloween wedding. Everybody came in costume. She actually wore a black wedding dress.
Ah,
Was Here Comes the Bride like played on an or not
No,
like
it was-
the typical organ,
if you
but like
renew your vows and
Phantom
do
of the Opera
something this
style?
cool, I'm coming.
No, actually, the Here Comes the Bride. We had two songs that played when she first came in. One is called Bad Wedding, and it's the traditional wedding march, but it's played on an out of tune fiddle. So
wow.
yeah, it's actually really creepy. And then that played when she entered, and then Moonlight Sonata played while she came down
Oh,
the aisle.
nice! Very nice.
Oh.
So this is a man who knows how to take
Yeah,
care of
you
his
like
ladies.
you renew your vows and like do cool shit like this. I'm coming.
Oh, absolutely, and you're more than welcome. Yeah.
I'm fucking coming.
I look forward to it.
We like even the Justice of the Peace, who was like this really really cool lady. She came dressed completely as a witch, complete with like the wig and the fake nose, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Everybody was in costume, and it was a blast.
Wonderful.
That might make me consider getting married again. Doing something like that.
That would make sense.
That would make me reconsider marriage. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So now that we've all kind of weighed in on that one, next up, just kind of cleaning house here because these things we promised have built up and we've not delivered, and nobody likes a tease. Come on now, fuck. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that.
Maybe that's my problem. Anyway.
You tease, you go over the knees.
Nope, I'm thinking of a different encounter. No, a couple of weeks ago, I had posted something about Christian privilege on my Tumblr, and then the person never actually responded back. All they did was wait a couple of days, and then they posted about, oh my god, all these atheists, they just hate me. Even though most of the atheist responses were, no, you don't get to tell us not to use the hashtag of God or Jesus or Christianity because fuck you. You know?
Atheists, they all hate me.
They're so mean to me.
They're so full of hate.
Why can't they let me just believe? Why it's free speech?
No, we're letting you believe. We're
just
just pointing out that your
I'm
belief
being attacked. This is Christian
crazy.
Persecution.
It's
But-
war on Christmas all over again.
This is Christian persecution.
I think this December we need to do an epic all on the war on Christmas. Are you guys in?
Oh, I'm so there.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah. Alright, we'll talk more about this later, because it's only March, and, I know Christmas is always just around the corner, because...
I have a 4-year-old. Christmas is constantly on my fucking mind. Like, all year long.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, there we go. Excellent, yeah. Oh, right, I'm doing this mirror image. How's that sausage roll doing? So, a couple of months ago now, I got a message from a Tumblr person on my An Atheist NYYC Tumblr page. It's also my Twitter handle.
Way to plug, dude.
Right? It's a shameless plug. Anyways, it's from a Christian. I won't give out her Tumblr. Let's get that one straight. Handle. Just because I, don't want people going there and hating on her. Because, we did have a fairly lengthy discussion, and I wish she had gotten back to me, because I'm still waiting to hear back from her, and it's been a little while, so I might just forward her a message and say, hey, saw your recent post. But anyways, so what she wrote to me about was, this is her message. Hello, my name is... Wow, that was well timed. It says, hello, my name is blah 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 blah. I know it may be strange, or perhaps you've had random Christian blogs contact you because you're atheist, I don't know, to have me come and contact you, but I need some advice.
Excuse me.
It's okay, I can edit that out, even though it's rude.
Rude.
Does that seriously say honey monkey?
Yes.
Honey monkey baby?
Just honey monkey. So she goes on, she says, my fiance just told me that he's a deconvert. He was a Christian, and now he says he is an atheist. It was hard for me to hear because we had talked about our lives in one way, and now it seems that it will completely change. Quit reading over my shoulder.
That's not what I'm doing.
He's making sweet love to that sausage thing he's eating.
No, it's done now.
Yeah, I'm finished the sausage thing.
So it
But
was
it was
hard.
really good.
I'm so fucking hungry.
So she says now it's hard for her to hear because, and I'm gonna start reading back her message again instead of just putting in
You're
third
buzzing
person.
and flipping.
You're buzzing and flipping. Is that better?
Okay, now it stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
She says, it's hard for me to hear because we had talked about our lives in one way, and now it seems that it will completely change. I love my fiancé, and I want to make our marriage work, but right now I'm having a hard time reconciling my faith with his unbelief. I don't want you to tell me to, quote, just get over it, unquote. That won't help me. What I'm asking is if you have any advice of respecting my future husband. I don't want to hurt him or make him uncomfortable with my faith, because I am still a believer and I will not be convinced otherwise, but I also don't want to hide that part of me. As an atheist, how have you been hurt by Christians, and how can I learn from you to respect my future husband? Thanks. So, I'll read you...
I dig this chick. I fucking dig this chick.
So I wrote out actually, my reply was like double the size of hers. So I'm just going to try to blast through it real quick, and then I kind of want to see what you guys hear.
I fucking dig her. I like her.
So my response to her was, to be honest, I haven't had much means of communication on Tumblr from Christians for any reason, let alone advice. That said, I do appreciate the contact. I think it absolutely crucial that I disclose off the bat that I myself am in a committed relationship with someone who is a Catholic and attends church weekly. I accompany her on the more important days and on the odd occasion as a show of support. That said, let me add that I think it commendable of you to want to maintain and grow your relationship with him, as well as ensure your respect for his lack of belief. This can be extremely difficult to reconcile between couples, but it doesn't have to. Rest assured, I'm sure that if he loves you, as I'm assuming he does, he will be respectful of your beliefs. Obviously, not knowing him, I am unable to speak for him, so I will stick with generalizations I can and pepper it with my own experience. Loving you for you as you are is most important, and not who you could be if your beliefs were suddenly shocked into a parallel with his. That, in my opinion, is what true love can be defined as. My relationship is focused more on our common ground and what brings us closer together. Now, I will admit, usually the tensions brought on by religious discussion in my relationship have actually been the fault of me absent-mindedly making comments. That's absolute fucking truth. I've rendered...
That is so absolutely fucking true.
Generally, anyways. We recently had a scrap when I voiced my opinion on the Pope. I just gave her that as an example. In the spirit of hoping to help, I'd like to use this as a stemming point for what I feel is absolutely most crucial to reduce in order to reduce conflict. Your partner might vocalize disagreement with religious ideology or a figure you identify with. That is okay. What I wish to hammer home with that is that it is incredibly important to keep in mind that it is not a personal attack against you. Differentiating between an attack against you and a critique of an idea you hold dear are very different, and while it may feel personal, it isn't. That ability isn't something that just develops. It does take time and patience on both parties to develop. It's okay to disagree. In fact, I'd like to say that necessary disagreement is necessary. That a healthy disagreement is necessary. I'm getting to the end of this thing. Fuck.
We know.
Necessary disagreement is necessary.
So I said, above all else, the key thing that I have learned from my experience is that there is a person underneath. Someone with hopes, dreams, and loves you nonetheless. Someone whom you love and whom loves you. Never forget who they are, and don't let a spat cause the end. I also then I PS'd by saying, I run a small podcast and discuss issues such as these. Give your permission to exchange, and she said yes.
Jesus Christ, you're fucking ruthless.
Well, I figure this would make a good time for, like a small discussion on that. So, obviously, everybody is different. There are people who we're gonna have unbelievers dating believers, and apparently it happens a lot more than we seem to realize.
It really
in
does.
the church
No,
that
it really does.
I go to with the ball and chain. Apparently, several.
You shut the fuck up about her like that.
I love her. It's fine. After what she did to me today, she deserves
watch your mouth. I don't give a fuck. You watch your mouth.
Anyways, so the church that I go to with her, one of the other singers, his girlfriend is also an atheist. In fact, the organist, who apparently is one of the best in the city, he runs the part of the music program over at Mount Royal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. His girlfriend is also an atheist, but she won't go to church ever. Apparently, I guess she's afraid of it. I told him to tell her that he should bring her on a day that I'm going, and her and I can sit there and we can chit chat. Yeah, I can keep her company. I'm good friends during church. So.
Yeah.
Don't forget the Alka-Seltzer.
I bring the good stuff. Yeah, just sit there with that under my tongue as I take communion. So, Jen, I know
that was totally my idea.
Your ex was a Christian, correct?
He was a fair-weather Catholic. So religion really didn't dominate in the house, but once things started going downhill, he would kind of attack me with the shit, and I would come right back out, and then it turned into a huffing of, why do you always look to prove it wrong? And it went nowhere, so we're just not going to get into it.
Why do you always have to bring me things that I can prove wrong?
Why is it always, you're always looking to prove it wrong? Why can't you just let it be? And
well, stop being wrong, and...
He was a Catholic when it suited him. When he was a Catholic when it suited him, much like he's pretty much anything when it suits him.
A C&E Catholic.
Yeah.
When it suits him. My son was baptized, and because I felt that if he wanted to.
Wait,
follow
did you put a Alka-Seltzer in his mouth when he was baptized?
No, actually, really fucking funny story with my kid. My ex insisted that somebody come and say a prayer over him right when he had been born at the hospital, and my son's eyes started to roll in the back of his head while he was sleeping.
Yes!
So here we are,
no kidding.
Here we are 6 months later at the christening, and every time the priest came near him with hands with a prayer, my son would growl at him. Like an animal, not like a little cute little kid growl. No, this was like guttural throat 6-month-old growl. So one day, I have a crucifix over my bed, not because of a religious thing. It was in my grandmother's coffin. It's more of a sentimental thing for me.
Fuck me, Jesus.
Oh, that crucifix has been some gnarly places.
No, it's sacred because it was in my grandma's coffin.
I'm so glad she said coffin there.
Yeah,
that would have been so creepy otherwise.
That could have ended really badly.
I hear him giggling his ass off. He had to be maybe 2. Giggling his ass off. I come into the bedroom. He's standing on my bed with a giant orange pool noodle, and he's beating the shit out of the crucifix because he found it hilarious that he can make Jesus spin on the cross while it was on the wall. So every time he smacks this thing and it moves, he thinks it's fucking hilarious now with his giant orange pool noodle. And I'm like, well, noodles, flying spaghetti monster, I think we can figure out what religion is taking over in this. But the way I put it was, if he ever did decide to follow the Catholic or Christian faith or whatever, I didn't want him to be that grown adult, fuck you, I don't know what's going on. Yes, I've seen that, and I've actually thought about buying it.
A Jesus Ken doll.
Yeah, just because it's
it's actually a Jesus action figure nailed to a cross.
He does CrossFit.
Ken doll.
Oh, he's CrossFit, nice.
Oh! But I didn't want him being the full-grown man at the baptism, because that's fucking embarrassing. So that's kind of why I did the whole baptism thing. Yeah, I was like, just in case, I don't want him being, all these little infants, and here's this, 18-year-old, 20-year-old man standing there with, waiting to get into the kiddie pool and be done. So
I think that's what priests like to do.
Yes.
He would be a little out of their age range at that point. So he'd be as enthusiastic.
If he's an old enough priest, he could be into kids who are a little older.
Yeah. Yes.
But I didn't want him to be. I didn't want him to be standing there in his swim trunks in a fucking kiddie pool. That's why I got about that.
Okay, true story.
Happened to a friend of a friend of mine.
Happened to a friend of a friend of mine. True story. A guy I used to work with was a firm believer, and he is the child of Polish immigrants. So we're talking
hardcore.
We're talking hardcore.
Yep.
So one day he comes into
Catholic.
work and he says to me, I'm just not finding Jesus at church anymore. And I said, to start with, I told him that I didn't realize that God was missing, but he said that he just wasn't finding God at his church anymore, and he was questioning his faith. And this friend of his had suggested that he go to this other church. So So this friend of mine went to this other church. He's like, and it was amazing, and I really felt the power of Jesus, and I was touched by God again, and it was wonderful. So he goes home and he tells his parents that he's going to leave Catholicism, and he's going to join a Pentecostal church.
Oh, Jesus!
Now, so like I said, we're talking about Polish immigrants. You were born Roman Catholic.
No, yeah.
You were raised Roman Catholic.
The entire community revolves around the church.
Roman Catholic.
Yeah, that's what my mother's family was. I think it was her grandmother came over.
Well,
with her parents, and the entire community revolves around the church. It's whack.
I know.
But so now keep in mind that they do, in order to actually be a full member of this church, you have to be baptized. Now, they do full immersion baptisms.
Right.
They do full immersion baptisms in the Pentecostal church. This is the United Pentecostal.
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
they sure do.
Now, this is very important to him. And because I'm his friend, and because I'm stupid, I agree to go to this church for his baptism.
Oh my God.
We get to this church.
Boy.
We get to the church. My first indication that things are not what I'm normally used to is when all the regular parishioners are going into the front door and everybody else is being siphoned into the side door.
The side door.
Where the pretty little thing with the clipboard wants to know your name and who you're there with and yada, yada, yada. And as I'm going in, I noticed there's this very ornate, fancy frame around the door, and I asked her if that was the heathen detector, and she didn't find that funny at all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Weird.
My next indication that this might not be exactly what I'm used to when I think of church is when we actually enter into the nave of the church itself, where there are people running around the pews, hands in the air, screaming at the top of their lungs, and I'm thinking to myself, what the actual fuck did I just walk into? I look over to where the music is coming from, and they have a drummer. Now, I'm not talking about like some dude with a snare drum who's keeping time. Or
No,
anything
like
that.
this is full.
We're talking a full blown Phil Collins drooling.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a party. I'll give it that much. It's a fucking party.
And Buddy's up there, and
much.
he's just wailing on the skins. And I'm like, okay, this is...
It's a party.
Oh, it's a party.
It is a party. Yeah.
So now the sermon has actually started. And it's a little creepy. The guy who's... just a little bit. The pastor's name is Pastor King, and I'm not making that up. So now Buddy comes out of the back, and he's in his orange prisoner jumpsuit because, you know, they're stealing his soul for Jesus. And he gets into this...
Oh, you got the whole show.
Oh, I got the whole show. So now there's this
you
giant...
got the Broadway...
Oh, yeah, I got the Broadway original
you
cast.
You got Broadway.
Yeah,
clang with the trolley.
Bang, bang, bang.
We're talking anniversary year of Cats here.
Oh, absolutely. So
wow.
Now... So Buddy comes out in his orange prisoner jumpsuit, gets in the giant fish tank at the front of the front of the congregation. The priest dips him a few times, says the magic words, officially gives him a brand new soul, and he's good to go. So now he goes to the back. He goes to the back, and he's getting changed. Now this is where something happened that made me go.
This is where it got weird?
No, okay, let me rephrase that. This is where shit got super weird. As Bob is my witless, at one point in time, the pastor is standing there, and he's pounding his hand on the pulpit, waving the Bible out over the congregation.
This can't end well.
And he's yelling, "When is your pastor right? When is your pastor right?" And the entire congregation starts chanting, "Always! Always!" And the little voice in the back of my head went, "Uh-oh."
Now you're starting to look for the big buckets of Kool-Aid.
Without thinking, I turned to the guy beside me and said, "If they start handing out Kool-Aid, I'm out of here." He did apparently not find that as anywhere near as entertaining as I did.
Man, some people just do not have a sense of humor.
You're just turning around waiting for the vats of Kool-Aid to come out.
People who believed in, talking snakes, talking donkeys, everybody being brought about by fucking series of incestual relationships, you'd think that they'd have a better fucking sense of humor. Like, come on,
you would think.
Wait a minute. Did we start talking about Game of Thrones? Okay.
No, don't you dare. No.
Oh my god.
No.
Bad.
No. Bad, Jen. Sick. Bad.
5 more weeks, I'm really fucking starting to lose it now.
Actually, I saw a great posting some woman had put up on Twitter.
Yep.
It says, "Me. Oh, you're sweet, you're kind, you're wonderful. There must be a catch. Him. No catch. God just wanted us to be together. Me."
And there it is.
And there it is.
So while I hate to do this, it is getting a little late, and I did promise my girlfriend that on the weekend that I was away for a bachelor party, I would, make sure I kept this short, sweet, and to the point, and that I'd be home sort of on time.
I'm sitting here waiting for a Sims to catch their house on fire. This is what my life has become.
That's
I'm
pretty
waiting
much
for a Sim
everybody
to burn her house down.
Played Sims. So before we go, there's one last little bit of self-gratification that I kind of wanted to go over. And it's not so much self-gratification as it is a little bit of, gratitude. So, Jim, since this is your first appearance, you're absolved of this. You don't have to be around. You don't have to, take part. But
oh, good.
Jen, is there anybody you'd like to thank for this podcast? Other than your mama and Elvis. God, say God. Yeah, just say God. Say God. Say God. Say it.
I would like to thank the old gods and Valor and the Faith of the Seven for making Cersei walk naked through the streets.
For fuck's sakes. Alright, that's it. You're cut off now.
No, just our listeners. Just our listeners. That's really who I want to thank for. It's just our listeners. Because, without them, we really wouldn't kind of have a show.
It's true.
So it's just them. I'm really fucking grateful for our listeners. I think I just kind of ramble. I don't think what I have to say is really that fucking important. But
Well,
Apparently to some
that's like what we
people it
say
is.
is, the show is really just about us having a conversation where we break the fourth wall.
It's just, yeah, you're pretty much just peeking into our actual text messages with this shit. So.
It's true. Only it's a lot more,
But yeah, our listeners. I really just want to thank our listeners because they're fucking amazing.
First and foremost, I think I want to thank the listeners. Without them, the numbers wouldn't be where they are. We might not even have continued if, we weren't getting people to listen to us, if we weren't getting any sort of, feedback or reaction from anyone. There are all of our guests, everybody who's, joined us, starting with Chris Hanna, David Ticho for having us on Heretical Minds when that was still a regular thing. Chris Tanner for coming on. Zandy Anderson for giving us a couple hours of her time. Same with Nick Morgamore, who joined us for a little bit to,
Oh my god,
total fan.
And
get it.
Eli, who came on last week, even though I think right near the end he was like, "Okay, we're done, let's go." And of course, I want to, thanks to Jim for giving us our logo. He's the one who did that up. I asked him.
Yeah, I gotta thank Jim, man. Jim's been with us since the.
He has. He was. After I pitched the idea to Jen, I went to Jim and I was like, "So Jen and I are talking about this. What do you think?" And he goes, "Fucking do it. Let's do it. Like,
fucking do it. Let's do
it." But there's another special thanks that I want to dole out. Say God. Yeah, I was getting to it. No, and I do hope he's listening to this. I know he's himself has stepped back even from his own podcast. He's got some stuff going on, and we really wish him all the best. And that's Chris the Seethen Heathen. He's formerly of Unbuckling the Bible Belt. It was him who I started following him on Twitter, and then I'm listening to his show one day, a couple of days after I started following him on Twitter, and all of a sudden I hear him mention us, and I'm going, what?
Yeah, that was
it was
really
well, I wasn't really paying attention. I was just kind of listening because he was doing Twitter, gratuities, and then all of a sudden he said, "Oh, this guy's in Canada, Not Another Atheist Podcast." I was like, "Oh wait, what?" All of a sudden I perked right up and I rewound it about 30 seconds, and I'm listening. There we go. And he said, my Twitter handle, an atheist in YYC, and so I sent him a message. I said, "Hey, really love the shout out." And he goes, "Where can we find you?" And it was during that day that he said, "Okay, these are the things you got to get. You got to get an RSS feed so you can get onto iTunes. You got to get a Facebook page so you can reach out to your fans." And that day we saw 130 people instantly like our show, and it was to say thank you to all those people. I don't think it's quite does enough. I don't think it quite really shows just how much that means to us. So to everybody who's joined us on this journey so far, thank you. And everybody who's going to continue to stick around with us in spite of the insanity and, the perpetual attention deficit disorder. Thank you.
I also want to give a shout out to...
The word he's looking for is ineptitude.
Yeah.
The other atheist podcasters that are out in the community. This is media, so it is competitive. And I never got that kind of vibe from them. They were really welcoming, and they're always so willing to help out and shout out and come on, and it really, really is like this kind of subsect of a family for us.
Oh, absolutely. There's actually another thank you that I think I should dole out. I don't know if she listens to this, and that's to Callie Wright.
Yes, fucking Callie.
A few months ago, I went through some stuff, and I was in a really rough place. And I kind of posted in our little podcasting group, and, I want to thank all of you. I don't know most of you, but a good portion of your names I know, and you people have kind of become almost a family to me, so I want to thank you. And, I made the mistake of typing pseudo-family, and Callie said, "No, this is family." I was like, no, you're absolutely fucking right. Here I am trying to be all soft and sappy, and I'm fucking it up. So, to the atheist and skeptical podcasting community, thank you beautiful motherfuckers. You are a sexy bunch of people.
They really are some gorgeous
I know, it's not fair.
Damn. I can't believe I'm in Tennessee. Jim is fucking sexy. And I say this in the most platonic way. Jim's a sexy motherfucker, man.
Why, thank you.
There we go. Now we have it on radio.
Yes, it's official.
You can't go back.
It's official.
It's YouTube official now.
Ooh.
So with that, we're going to close this broadcast out. Thank you, Jen, for joining me and putting up with me doing the show for the last year. And Jim, thank you for being the first person
Thank you for putting up with me, because I am, like, impossible.
She really is.
I really fucking am.
Alright.
I'm an insufferable bitch.
What was the word that you used? Something cunt.
Oh, I have so many
She's the
variations
cunt.
of cunt, honey. You're gonna have to...
Yeah.
I'm the cunt. That's it. Yeah, I'm just the cunt.
So Jim, say good night to the boys and girls, and if you want people to reach out to you, how can they reach out and touch you? I mean, reach out to you. Oh, that was Freudian slip.
I am on Twitter under Chronic the Hemp Hog. The easiest way to find me, because it's not spelled exactly the way it sounds.
It's spelled fucked up.
It is spelled fucked up because there's not enough letters to actually spell the whole thing out. If you go to Keith's Twitter feed of an atheist at YYC, you'll find me under his...
he's in there.
Yeah, you'll find me under his contact list.
I think you're on mine, too.
Yeah, I'm on yours as well.
Yeah.
Other than that, I want to thank you guys for having me on. This has been a lot of fun.
I know, Norton's being a bitch.
I want to thank you guys for having me on. It's been a lot of fun.
I'm so happy to finally get you on.
This is not the first time.
So fucking happy.
Or this is not going to be the last time.
This is not the first time. These are not the droids.
We
you're
hid that
looking
episode
for.
from you, ladies and gentlemen. We hid that episode. That's going to come out in our Lost Archive.
Oh, shit. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jen. And with
Thank you, honey. Thank you, Jen.
And with that, good night.
With that, I'm getting some fucking food. Good night.
The Not Another Atheist Podcast experience is run by Jen and Keith. If you wish to contact the hosts, please write to nehehp@gmail.com. They can be found at facebook.com/NotAnotherAtheistPodcast, or search Not Another Atheist Podcast on iTunes and Stitcher to subscribe and leave reviews.
Vagina.
She has this mental image of them like making the Eiffel Tower with her.
Oh, great. So now we're making fun of addicts, too. Fucking wonderful. If you are going to cut off my batteries at that point, I am going to be one evil fucking angry bitch.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah, you dangle keys in front of my face and I'm screwed.
It's upper dipshitistan, right? What the fuck is wrong with your country? Yeah, we are far too fucking polite to say shit like that. I'm sorry, you mouth-breathing, low-forehead, one-eyebrow, knuckle-dragging, trailer-park-living, velvet Elvis-painting-owning motherfucker. Fuck me, Jesus! Fuck me, Jesus!
No.
This is the Pope, and you're about to listen to Not Another Atheist Podcast. I hope you like it.
Attention, Mr. Pope. I would like to cordially invite you to go fuck yourself. Thank you. Sincerely, Richard Dawkins.
Oh, Mr. Dawkins, what are you...
Oh my god, I would, like, my ovaries would fucking do jumping jacks if he ever fucking said that.
Yeah, that's why I'm working on my impression of him, so this way I can, make him say whatever the fuck we want.
I'm picking up my panties and I'm going home, okay?